they are looking for some advice, and this did come in live onto the number. And if anybody else wants to ask any weird questions, fun questions, serious questions, 315 605 8350. Leave a voicemail, send a text. We haven't got a voicemail yet, but we're still getting some text messages. And this one was from somebody that they said their name was Jessie.
Okay.
Jessie. All right, here we go. I'm going to read it as is that came over. It says, I attached a, in parentheses, toy to a jackhammer last weekend for self-pleasure. This was my first time using this tool, but I am no stranger to girth. I'm worried it was too powerful because now I can't walk without a strange squeaking noise coming from my rectum. It sounds like a hamster walking really slow on its exercise wheel or a dog's toy being chewed on in my pants. I am a special education teacher, and this noise is very distracting to my students, who already have a hard time focusing. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Thank you in advance, Jessie.
Well, thank God I just got done saying that nothing is off limits when it comes to comedy, because I didn't realize that you had to be I didn't realize that you had to be special to be a special education teacher, because that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard anybody. Even if that's true, which I'm telling you at this point in time, I'm praying that it's not. A jackhammer, like,
I mean, your butthole can't make a squeaking noise, right?
I mean,
can it?
Well, we all know what the musical stairs are.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you go upstairs while you're farting and you get that.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it could. But like, what did they use, like a whistle? Is it like
that's what I'm thinking. What is the noise is what threw me off. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I like the description. I'm a hamster wheel walking slow, or a dog toy being chewed. Like, those give a very distinctive sound to the butt, but I don't think the body makes a noise like that, just being too stretched.
But I find it interesting that that's the part that threw you off of it. Not the straight up like construction jackhammer that they used, but it was the noise. The noise is what made you go, yeah, I don't think that's believable. Is it? Are we just so accustomed to people doing crazy shit to their bodies sexually that a jackhammer doesn't seem that far-fetched to us?
Man, a jackhammer. Who would have access to a jackhammer besides potentially someone that owns a construction business? I have to imagine they're expensive, and I'm about to Google the average price of a jackhammer. And I have to imagine that
a jackhammer's got to be $2,500.
Let's see here. Average price of a jackhammer, according to... So I'm just looking right now, the AI experience on Google that just throws up a bunch of answers. The average price of a jackhammer can range from $157 to $1,700. You can go right to Harbor Freight, apparently, according to this. Not to throw Harbor Freight any whatever, but according, that's the first thing that pops up. Great SEO, great sponsored from them, and you get a Hercules jackhammer for $499.99 on sale from $650. 120 volt corded.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that's a lot cheaper than I would have thought of.
Like, yeah, remember like on the sidewalks, the big ass ones? That's what I was picturing in my head. There's different models. There's smaller ones. So that's, I guess, like a new age thing. There's one for $269 at Lowe's, $399. There's all sorts of different jackhammers. Small ones, handheld ones.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I'm thinking of, the only one I'm thinking of is like the one that they had in the movie Tremors, where they were going up to the construction crew telling them to stop, and all of a sudden, bah, and the whole thing just goes. Well, I tell you,
even make them on what are those things? The friggin' dollies, like the 2-wheel hand carts.
Yeah,
they make a jackhammer on that, so you can move them around easier.
Oh, that'd be great.
This changes the question a little bit.
Okay, so there is the possibility that is a. I still stand by what I say. You have to be special education in order to think that was a good idea. Like, there's no way.
Yeah. No. Again, not kink shaming, but
no.
Do you think they eat ass? I bet you this person eats ass.
Full circle.
They eat ass.
They definitely eat ass.
So my advice, and then I'll let you give some advice. My advice, and again, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice by any means. Did I work in a hospital for almost a decade? Yes. Was I smarter than some of the doctors? Probably. Did I have the ability to look stuff up like the doctors? Yes. Was I as close as some of the people that were pretending to be a doctor and actually weren't a doctor and they let them practice medicine in this location they got in a bunch of trouble for? I wasn't the doctor and I didn't hire them. But um, I'm going to say just don't do that again. I mean, that just seems like a terrible idea. I have to imagine, and this is coming from me that has never had any of these toys or the desire to put one of these toys into myself. I have to imagine that the way the technology is, that they make them pretty good for all shapes and sizes and holes. That I don't think you really need to spend the money and put it on a jackhammer. They probably make a toy called the jackhammer that is made for the body at the right stuff. I'm assuming maybe just instead of doing that and MacGyvering your toy, maybe just buy the right thing for you and maybe ease into it. And as far as trying to get rid of the squeaking, I would love go to a doctor, ask if you can record or at least do the experience, maybe audio only, and let us know how the doctor or you know what I mean primary care person reacts to you telling them exactly what you did, and I want to know what their cure is.
I need to,
That'd be
I
cool.
need that voice. That's the voicemail we need to hear on air. I got to know what the squeaking sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, and listen, okay,
Mm.
I'm not going to explain how I know this, but I am going to say there are hydraulic devices that are specifically for what this person just talked about. Not to mention the fact, is that not the reason why most of these new toys have the suction cup bottoms? Like, be your own jackhammer, like do it at your own pace, your own depth, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's my
Yeah.
advice
Don't.
is stay away from the machines until you have a grasp on whatever it is you're using. Make sure it has a flared base, but on whatever you're using, until you've had the ability to do it manually, don't do it mechanically.
Yeah. That's some good advice. And if Jessie is a girl, then know that song that I wish I had Jessie's girl. It turns out in this case, I don't wish that I
I
had
do
Jessie's
not
girl.
want Jesse's girl.
Mm-mm.